based on it you would accept a book to be divine, I would probably say no. Because plants, okay, I do not know, but maybe we could research up the fact. In principle, this knowledge could have been attained, or it could have been guessed. And the fact that other appears in other things of which you have no knowledge is an ambiguous statement, which kind of fits into particle-antiparticle scenario, but it doesn't say so very clearly. So yeah, so I'm trying to be very objective, and I'm trying to say, yeah, it doesn't have the clarity of the previous verses. It nevertheless, if you view it from a scientific point of view, it's perfectly correct and perfectly beautiful. It gives you a tentative thing that it could be a revelation, but as I told you, revelation is a very strong thing to judge. Let's go for the human explanations with this one. Okay, what are the eras of evolution of universe when universe started from Big Bang? And now it's the Planckian era. That's a very interesting era in which the space-time has very funny structures, and we don't understand really a lot about it. Try to work on it, but it's very difficult. Especially you shouldn't be working on it in a PhD level. Inflation, when the universe after that underwent a massive, very fast expansion. That's exactly what I'm working on now. Baryogenesis, after that, what happened was that there was certain reactions which occurred in our universe, and the baryon number wasn't conserved, and okay, these are some technicalities in the particle physics, but yeah, this actually accounts for why there is more matter than antimatter in our universe. Hydron annihilation, again something technical, but basically some particles called hydrons annihilated their own antiparticles, and only a small residue of that was left. Lepton annihilation, leptons again annihilated their own antiparticles, and only a small residue was left. And then nucleosynthesis, this is where we are. Then atoms, and then basically nuclear fusion came up, and protons and electrons and atomic structures came up, and this is the era we are in. Okay, number one. Actually, if you number them, they come to be 6. Interestingly, in the Genesis of the Old Testament, there is a mention of creation of world in 6 days, but the problem is these are not 24-hour days. These are very, very small periods, or very long periods, billions of seconds or billions of years. So they're not actually specifically days. They are lengths of periods. But the number 6, I should admit, in Old Testament does match. The only thing is, again, another thing that doesn't match is the fact that you have the idea that in Old Testament about God resting on the 7th day, and the detailed description of what was created on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th day. But say if I am a scientist and you give me Genesis and tell me to edit it up and make it look scientifically possible, I'll say, okay, let's do it this way. Let's cancel out day and make it a period of time. Let's cancel out the 7th day, because we're still in a way in a sense in the 6th day, and the God is still in control. And what else? And let's edit out all the detailed description of what was created in each day, and then the verse can seem scientifically possible. Keep that in mind, because I'm coming to it. The second thing I have kept on talking about throughout my talk is the possibility of a multi-universe scenario, more than one universe. You see, this is from string theory called brain models. What happens is that we view our universe like a brain, like a 3-dimensional plane. Okay, and there are additional dimensions in which there are additional universes, and this could actually account for why gravity is so weak. Many of the physicists are attracted by this model. It is most likely true. I mean, multi-universe scenario is used for other things also sometimes. In quantum mechanics, nobody takes it serious. It's an infinite universe. It's just an explanation, because quantum mechanics is weird. You come up with all the weird explanations. But I haven't seen a physicist who really takes it to be really serious. It doesn't have the rigor. There was multi-universe in space-time form, which was infinite universes with infinite, infinite different physics going on in them. That was disproved. The third thing is that there are finite universes, bit like our universe, the brain world scenario. String theory, a lot of papers are being written about it. String theory community really likes it, but we have no proof of it. But it could be very likely true. But still, we have received no experimental evidence of multi-universes. Very likely true. 6 phases of evolution. Okay, now let's see what Quran says about it. I told you how the edited version of the Genesis should be. So, it is God who has created all the universes along with the earth and all that is between them, the universes, in 6 periods of varying time. and is firmly established on throne of authority. You have none besides him to protect or intercede for you. Will you not then receive admonition? Okay, important point here to be noted is that creation, this verse not only mentions of the creation of universes, but of creation between them. Now this looks very much, if bulk brain models are actually proved, this will be amazing, because bulk brain models actually talk of universes, which is called a brain, and a bulk in which these universes are placed. Okay, but not necessary. This is still not so far proved. Again, of 6 periods of evolution of the universe is really beautiful. Some of the commentators, this is what I said with problem with the translation is, some of them really try to fix it in the Judeo-Christian context. So when they say pre-period, they might in bracket or sometimes with a cross down right day. We'll come to the questions in the end. Right day or things like that. I mean, or they might actually put a day here, but most of the commentators just put a cross and right day underneath. But the verse in itself is beautiful. Okay, this is kind of interesting and kind of funny. Come to the questions. Okay, just let me finish because I don't want to break your rhythm. Okay, life elsewhere in universe. What is now this? Let me first, before talking about it, tell you, please don't get into one of those fancy, almost crackpot notions of aliens coming to Earth. The distances between the planets and the universe is so huge. By no means of any kind of travel can any of this life, if ever life exists on any other planet, have any communication with Earth. So all those fancy, I mean, it's really becoming fancy because of these Hollywood movies. So even if there is life in other planets, it can't have any conceivable effect on life on Earth. But the idea remains, is there a possibility of life outside Earth? I mean, are we really unique? Are we really unique? We always like to think we are unique, but interestingly we are not. Because there are about 125 galaxies that we have so far observed, about 10% of the stars with billions of stars, 10% of stars like Sun are expected to have solar systems. These are very rough estimates, by the way, don't catch me on them. Very, very rough estimates, but they're still estimates, good enough than no estimates. And even if 1 billionth of these star systems could support life, we would probably be ending up with still billions of planets capable of supporting life. I mean, there are some there's an American physicist who actually came up and in again a very rough way said it's very possible that even in Milky Way there could be thousands of planets supporting life. The idea is that there are star systems like Sun, planets like Earth out there, and so life in other planets is very conceivable. What is inconceivable and what should not drive people into crackpotness is that these aliens come to Earth or things like that. Please don't get into that. All I'm trying to say is that it's conceivable that there is life outside Earth. And interestingly, it's mentioned in Quran. This is one thing really I like about Quran, is that it's not really human-centric or Earth-centric, because I wouldn't expect God to be really centered around Earth and focus all his attention on Earth, which is really an insignificant planet in the whole universe. Of him, that's God, seek its needs, all creation in all the universes, along with the creatures on Earth. Or creatures in all the universes along with the creatures on Earth. Every moment he is in a new state of glory. So it does mention of this fact, but yeah, as I said, yeah, it's still something like the brain world scenario, which is beyond the scope of present day science. It might be true, but we cannot pass an affirmative statement on that. And therefore, by the kind of logic we are really using, that we're trying to compare Quran with scientific facts, it doesn't prove or disprove it, and yeah, it's not really very directly related. Okay, we've been talking about science. Before I come to the conclusion, I want to talk about a bit of history, because I'm not against using history for text, but what I initially mentioned was you shouldn't be using history from text to affirm text. Okay, if you have a neutral source of history, you can compare it with the text, and many a times you can find a human explanation to it. People could just note and write down history. But there was an interesting phenomenon that I noted in Quran, which I thought I could mention in this talk. You see, in ancient Egypt they used helography, okay, writing by symbols. Now this language died about 400 AD, about 300